With the Arizona Cardinals finishing up their coaching staff, it is about time we start talking about the actual team itself. More specifically, who's going to make it and who's not. Now, we have players that, if we want to see them in a Cardinals jersey next year, we will have to look to re-sign. And we also have players that we need to get out of a Cardinals jersey. So, starting with re-signs, there are a couple players the Cardinals do need to take a very close look at and really try to retain them. First things first, Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy has been a very good Cardinal. He hasn't been great yet. Okay, but a corner that has been as good as he's been is definitely going to be wanted. And so the Cardinals do need to re-sign him. And I'm all for it, but the price is the only thing that will probably set it apart. Now, we also have to understand we do have a new GM. And so he might look to make a lot of changes, change things up, and do his own thing. And so Byron Murphy, if he wants to go over $7-8 million, that's probably wraps for him. But I do hope we can see him in a Cardinals jersey again. Next up, Zach Allen, another Cardinals rookie that, he really fell into his role in this year. With J.J. Watt teaching him, we saw a lot of improvement come from him this year. And it seemed like almost every game he was batting the ball down. And so he definitely learned a lot from J.J. Watt and definitely proved that he should be re-signed. And once again, this is another one that money is going to get in the way of. And with the Cardinals picking most likely defensive line for the draft, it does leave his future up in the air. But I still really would like to see Zach Allen back. I think there's many things he can still do for this team and just ultimately improve this defense as well. Next up, Andy Lee. You need a good punter. I feel like it's an easy choice to retain your punter, and ultimately it's something that you have to do. And so we need to get Andy Lee back, especially for him playing at almost 41 years old. He's still playing very good and at a very high level. So the Cardinals definitely do need to bring him back. As well as Antonio Hamilton. Hamilton, we didn't get to see his fullest from this year. He didn't start the beginning of the season, but when he came in, he ultimately did have a good enough showing that he does deserve to be re-signed. And this is ultimately really good for the Cardinals because his contract shouldn't be very expensive at all. And so it should be a very mutual agreement here that we can bring him back. And last but not least, for re-signings, I think probably number one re-signing the Cardinals need to make is none other than Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch exploded onto the scene this year with the absence of Hop and then Hollywood Brown. Greg Dortch played very well for someone who really kind of came in nameless to this team, but was talked about in training camps. And he came in and he did his thing. And he really did come in and shock a lot of Cardinals fans. But he is definitely someone, if we can, we should re-sign. I don't think it'll be that expensive either. I think it'll be another mutual, friendly contract. And he is a restricted free agent, which is just even better for the Cardinals. I do likely see him coming back. Now, it's time to get to the cuts. Hey, one cut that is absolutely necessary and who was really just a last-minute gift from Steve Keim is Robbie Anderson. Last year seemed like a good move. We had injuries. We needed a receiver. Someone with a very low contract that Panthers were willing to eat. But this year, it's not the case. We need to get rid of him. $12 million, it will save the Cardinals. He has to get cut. There's no doubt about it. As well as Rodney Hudson. Now, Rodney Hudson is under contract still. And last year, he did take his time flirting with retirement, trying to figure out what he was going to do. And I do like Rodney Hudson. He is honestly one of the best centers the Cardinals have ever had. But he hasn't been healthy. He hasn't had the same energy he once had. And so if we cut him, we save $3 million. I'm honestly all for it. I think offensive line is definitely something we're going to address in the draft and free agency as well. And so hopefully this kind of aligns with that and we can go ahead and save some money. Next up, Dennis Gardeck. I think as Cardinals fans, we all love Gardeck. He's done very well and has come out of nowhere and been one of those underdog athletes that really just comes in and does his job and is very likable. But the Cardinals did re-sign him a few years back, and if we do cut him, we do save $3.5 million, which I like him. I really do. But his health and his productivity has been a question. And so if I'm the GM right now, I'm considering it. I don't know how to feel myself, but I think it's something actually worth considering. And last but not least, the Cardinals can save $1.5 million if we cut Colt McCoy. It's kind of a tricky situation right now. That is the thing. With Kyler most likely not playing the first couple games of the season, we're going to need a different quarterback. And Colt McCoy, he's been in this Cardinals team for 2 years. He knows the system. But that $1.5 million could go and help us get a better quarterback who can actually help us win in the beginning stages of the season and get us ready for Kyler to come back. And I don't mean that with any hate. I really like Colt McCoy. He's done good every time he's been put in the position to come in and be our starter. But I'm not sure if he will be the man for the Cardinals next year. But this is just the calm before the storm. Because in 3 weeks, the NFL free agency will start. And that's when we will really see who's going to be on this team and who's not. And so be sure to let me know down below in the comments. Who do you think is worth keeping? And who should the Cardinals cut or just let walk? Be sure to hit that like and sub button. And with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one.